If I could turn back time, I would have never set foot in this place. I still remember the day I left my home, my real home, the place where I had built decades of memories, the kitchen where I had cooked meals for my family, the garden where I had spent countless evenings sipping tea as the sun dipped below the horizon, the old, creaky chair by the window where I would sit and read my favorite books. I thought I was making the right decision. I thought nursing homes were designed to give people like me a safe, comfortable and dignified life in our final years. That's what they told me. That's what the brochures promised. But no one talks about what happens after you sign the papers, after you say goodbye to your home, your freedom, and without even realizing it, your sense of self. No one tells you that this place, meant to care for you, can sometimes feel like a prison. I was promised care, but what I got was something very different. And now, as I sit here reflecting on everything I've lost, I feel compelled to share what no one told me. Because if you have aging parents, if you're considering a nursing home for yourself, or even if you think this doesn't apply to you, trust me, one day it will. This is my story. 10 brutal truths about nursing homes that no one talks about until it's too late. And if you find even a fraction of this helpful, do me a favor, like this video so more people can hear the truth. Not for me, but for all the people who don't get a chance to speak up. Truth number 1, it's not as comfortable as home. I don't think anyone realizes what home really means until they leave it for good. I still remember the way my house smelled, a mix of old wood, fresh laundry, and the lingering scent of the meals I had cooked over the years. I had a bed that molded to my body just right, and a favorite chair that had seen better days but still held me perfectly. I had my books, my blankets, my own cups and plates, small things that made life feel like mine. But here I was given a room, a small one, 4 walls, a bed that was too stiff, too cold, a nightstand with just enough space for a few personal items. They told me I could bring a couple of things from home, a picture frame, maybe a small plant. But tell me, how do you fit an entire life into a single nightstand? How do you take decades of memories and squeeze them into a single sterile room? At first, I told myself I just needed time to adjust, that I'd get used to it. But days turned into weeks and weeks into months, and no matter how much time passed, this place never felt like home. At night, I lie awake, staring at the ceiling, and I realize I'm just another occupant in a place where so many have come and gone before me. And one day, I'll be replaced too. Home was a place where I felt safe, where I belonged. But here I am just living in someone else's system. By the way, if you're still here, it means you care, and that matters. Make sure to subscribe, because more people need to know these hard truths. Truth number 2, you lose a lot of your independence. You don't realize how much freedom you have until it's taken from you. At home, if I wanted to sleep in, I did. If I wanted to sit outside and feel the breeze, I did. If I felt like taking a bath at 2 a.m. just because I couldn't sleep, I could. But here, none of that is possible. Everything runs on a schedule. Wake-up calls happen at the same time every morning, whether you like it or not. Meals are served at set times, breakfast, lunch, dinner, on someone else's schedule. Even the small things, like when you can take a shower or what time you go to bed, aren't really up to you anymore. I remember the first time I wanted something simple, an extra blanket. We'll get to it soon, they said. Hours passed, I asked again. It's coming, they said. It never came. That's when I started to realize I was no longer in control. If I needed something, I had to wait. If I wanted to go somewhere, I needed permission. If I wanted to eat something outside of their scheduled meals, too bad. One night I wasn't feeling well, and I just wanted to make myself some tea, the way I used to at home. I asked if I could, and they said, "No, the kitchen is closed for the night." I felt like a child again, like I had no say in my own life. At first you resist. You tell yourself, "No, I'll keep asking, I'll push back." But after a while, you stop. You get tired of asking for things that never come. You stop expecting anything more. You accept that this is your new reality. That's what losing your independence feels like. It's not just about the big things. It's about the slow, gradual erasure of all the small freedoms that made life feel like yours. And the worst part, no one even realizes it's happening to them until it's too late. If you're still here, still listening, it means this matters to you. Go ahead and hit that like button, because the more people see this, the more we can spread awareness. This is just the beginning, and trust me, it gets worse. Truth number 3, the food is nothing like home. I used to love cooking. There was something special about preparing a meal with my own hands. The smell of freshly chopped onions sizzling in a pan, the warmth of a homemade soup on a cold evening, the joy of sitting down and savoring a dish I had perfected over the years. I never thought I'd miss it as much as I do now. When I first arrived here, they told me I wouldn't have to worry about meals anymore. No more grocery shopping, no more cooking, no more cleaning up afterward. Sounds good, right? I was wrong. The food here, I don't even know if I can call it food. It's bland, overcooked, and sometimes even cold by the time it reaches us. The portions are small, the variety is non-existent, and the worst part, you don't get to choose what you eat. I remember one day they served something they called beef stew. It looked nothing like the rich, flavorful stew I used to make at home. It was watery, the meat was tough, and the vegetables were so overcooked they had turned to mush. I took one bite and pushed my plate away. I asked if I could have something else, maybe just a simple sandwich or a piece of fruit. "This is what's on the menu today," they said. And that was it. Day after day, I found myself dreading meal times, not just because the food was bad, but because it was yet another reminder that I had no control. At home, food was a source of comfort. Here, it's just another thing I have to endure. And if you think, well, it's just food, you can get used to it. Imagine eating something you don't enjoy 3 times a day, every day for the rest of your life. That's not living, that's just surviving. If you've made it this far, I know you care about the truth. Go ahead and subscribe, not just for me, but so more people can hear these untold stories. Truth number 4, the staff is overworked and it shows. I want to believe that most of the staff here care. I really do. But the reality, most of them are just too tired to care. They work long hours. They're underpaid. They have too many residents to look after and not enough time. At first, I didn't want to be a burden. I tried to be patient, to be understanding. I told myself they're doing their best. But after a while, the cracks started to show. One night I wasn't feeling well. I pressed the call button beside my bed, hoping someone would come check on me. Minutes passed, then an hour. I pressed it again. Nothing. By the time someone finally came, I was shaking, drenched in sweat. The nurse barely looked at me as she handed me some painkillers. "Take these," she mumbled, already turning to leave. I wanted to ask her to stay, just for a moment, just until I felt a little better, but I could see it in her eyes. She was exhausted. She didn't have time for me. And that's when it hit me. I was just another task on her list. It wasn't her fault. She was stretched too thin, trying to take care of too many people at once, but that didn't make it any less painful. When you're old, sick, and alone, a little kindness goes a long way. But in a place like this, kindness is a luxury most of us don't get. If you know someone working in a nursing home, or if you've ever seen how hard these staff members work, drop a comment below. Let's start a conversation. Truth number 5, loneliness becomes your worst enemy. I used to think loneliness was just about being physically alone. But the truth is, you can be surrounded by people and still feel completely invisible. When I first arrived here, I told myself I'd make friends. After all, we're all in the same boat, right? But what I didn't realize was that most of the people here, they weren't really here. Some had dementia. Some were too frail to leave their rooms. Some just kept to themselves, lost in their own worlds. I tried to start conversations, I really did. But after a while, the silence became too much. The people I really wanted to talk to, my friends, my family, they were all out there living their lives. They visited sometimes, but as the months passed, the visits became less frequent. "We'll come next weekend," they'd say. "Things are just really busy right now." I smiled, I said I understood, but inside I was screaming. Because when you're here, time moves differently. Days blur together, and when no one visits, when no one calls, you start to wonder if you even exist outside of this place. I keep a small calendar by my bed, marking the days between visits. Sometimes I stare at it for hours, counting down to the next time I'll see a familiar face. But the truth? Sometimes that calendar stays blank for weeks. And that's the hardest part. Not the bad food, not the lack of independence, not even the overworked staff. It's the feeling that you've been forgotten. If you're watching this and you have an elderly parent, grandparent, or loved one in a nursing home, please call them. Visit them. Let them know they haven't been forgotten. And if this is hitting home for you, leave a like, because more people need to hear this. Truth number 6, you start to feel like a burden. No one wants to be a burden. But when you're old, when you can't do the things you used to, when you need help for even the smallest tasks, that's exactly how you start to feel. I used to be the strong one, the one who took care of others, the one who worked, who cooked, who provided. But now I need help just to stand up, just to walk to the bathroom, just to remember what day it is. I see it in their eyes when they visit, the guilt, the hesitation. They don't say it out loud, but I know what they're thinking. I wish things were different. I wish you didn't need so much help. I wish we had another option. And I wish that too. Every time I ask for something, I hesitate. Because I don't want to be too much. I don't want to be another problem for someone to solve. So I stop asking. I stop needing. And that's how it happens. That's how people in nursing homes start to disappear, long before they actually leave this world. We shrink, we fade, we become ghosts in our own lives. And the saddest part, no one even notices. If you're still here, still listening, it means this matters to you. Make sure to subscribe, because the truth needs to be heard. Truth number 7, you lose your sense of purpose. I never thought I'd say this, but some days I wake up and wonder, why? Why am I still here? What am I supposed to do with my days? At home, I had routines, I had responsibilities, I had a reason to get out of bed every morning. But here, there's no job to do, no house to maintain, no grandkids to pick up from school, no garden to tend to, just time. Endless empty time. I've watched some people here spend their days staring out the window, watching cars pass by, wondering where those people are going and what lives they're living. And I get it now, because I do it too. I used to have dreams, hobbies, things I wanted to learn, places I wanted to go. But in a place like this, it feels like life has already decided for you. This is it. You're just waiting and waiting. For what exactly? I don't know anymore. Maybe you're young now. Maybe you think this will never happen to you. I thought that too. If you're still here, still watching, I need you to do something. Hit the like button. Not for me, but so more people can see this. Because someone out there needs to hear this truth. Truth number 8. Your memories fade and it's terrifying. I never realized how precious my memories were until they started slipping away. I used to remember everything. My kids' birthdays, my wedding day, the way my mother used to hum when she cooked. But now, some days, I struggle to remember what I had for breakfast. I'll start telling a story, one I've told 100 times before, and suddenly, I can't remember how it ends. It's like my own life is slowly being erased piece by piece. And the worst part, no one tells you how scary it is. They laugh it off. Oh, you're just getting old. But it's not funny. It's terrifying. Because if I forget the moments that made me who I am, then who am I? I write things down now, little notes to myself, reminders of things I don't want to lose. But the more I write, the more I realize I can't stop this. One day I might forget everything, and that thought haunts me more than anything else. If you've ever watched someone you love struggle with memory loss, you know how heartbreaking it is. Leave a comment below. Let's talk about it. Because pretending it's not happening won't make it any less real. Truth number 9. Visits become fewer and you realize who truly cares. In the beginning, the visits were frequent. My kids, my grandkids, even old friends, they came often. They sat by my bedside, brought me little treats and asked how I was doing. But slowly, things changed. Work is crazy right now. The kids have school. We'll come next weekend. Next weekend turns into next month. Next month turns into silence. I get it, life moves fast, people get busy. But when you're here, time doesn't move the same way. 1 week without a visit feels like a year. 1 month feels like forever. I used to get excited every time I heard footsteps in the hallway, hoping they were coming to see me. Now I don't even look up anymore, because most of the time, they're not. And that's when you realize some people visited because they felt obligated. But the ones who keep coming even after the excitement fades, those are the ones who truly love you. The rest, they move on. And you're left behind. If you have someone in a nursing home, please visit them. Even if it's just for 10 minutes, you have no idea how much it means. And if this resonates with you, hit the subscribe button, because we need more honesty about this. Now, I don't even look up anymore, because most of the time, they're not. And that's when you realize some people visited because they felt obligated, but the ones who keep coming even after the excitement fades, those are the ones who truly love you. The rest, they move on, and you're left behind. If you have someone in a nursing home, please visit them. Even if it's just for 10 minutes, you have no idea how much it means. And if this resonates with you, hit the subscribe button, because we need more honesty about this. Truth number 10, you start to feel invisible. I used to be someone, a mother, A father, a friend, a co-worker, a person with a full, vibrant life. Now, I feel like a shadow. People walk past me without really seeing me. The nurses talk about me, not to me. Even when family visits, there's this look in their eyes, like I'm fading, like I'm slipping into the background of their lives. It's the strangest thing. I'm still here, I'm still me. But to the world, I've already started disappearing. And that's the hardest truth of all. Because when you feel invisible long enough, you start to believe it. If you're still here, still watching, still listening, thank you. You've given me something most people in my position don't get anymore. Attention, a voice, a chance to be heard. And for that, I am truly grateful. My final thoughts. I didn't make this video to scare you. I made it because no one else is saying these things. Because too many people enter nursing homes thinking it'll be fine, only to realize too late that they've lost more than just their independence. If you're young, take care of your health. Plan ahead. Make sure your future is one you choose, not one you're forced into. And if you have someone in a place like this, don't let them fade away. Visit, call, remind them that they still matter. Because one day, it could be you. If you found this video valuable, hit like, leave a comment and subscribe. Not for me, but so more people can hear this truth before it's too late.